I thought I had pushed live. Now it's live. Oh my goodness. I'll get it one of these days, you guys. Oh, so yeah, we'll wait a few minutes and give time for people to get here. Um, I don't know. I know a couple of people, not very many, but a couple of people said they would be here. One of them said they might be late. I said that's fine, but it's going to take me a little while to build this um, build this up. I'm going to have to do it for a few months and let people get used. If I do it consistently, hi, that's what she said. And Lord Kiss Freak, welcome, welcome. Yeah, I'm going to have to do it consistently, to build up a little following. Sorry, you guys. I'm trying to change my calendar over. But we'll give it like 2 more minutes or so, if that's okay with everybody. I hope everybody's doing good. I'm doing good. I got a good night's rest, and I stayed in bed most of the day watching movies. So, and I'm not a movie person. So, when I do decide to watch movies all day, I have a lot to choose from. But
That's
yeah.
why we have. All the streaming platforms like Netflix and Hulu and Amazon Prime and all those
Oh,
places for us to see movies and stuff. That's what I use. I use those types of apps.
I just go to YouTube free movies. Oh boy, my allergies. It was 85 and sunny here today in Florida, which to me is a little warm, but not bad. But my allergies this past week have really been kicking in too. All the trees are blooming and flowers, and oh my gosh, I'm just going to mute it real quick and blow my nose. Well, thank you, Miss Susie. My hair did good today. It's getting so long, and I cut it about this time last year, I think. Not a whole lot, but probably about right there. And um, I've just been letting it grow back because I miss not being able to braid it. And but summer's coming, so I'm thinking, I should probably cut it again. It was raining there all day. Now, oh, snow. Ooh, 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 ooh. I'm glad I'm not in the snow.
Yeah, yeah. Here in Culver City, California, where I'm at, it's been hot, but like where I'm at, it's been like in the 60s or 70s, so it's nice,
Yeah.
nice cooler weather. So
The weather in Southern California is the best in the world. I mean, San Diego's supposed to have the ideal climate, like world, like out of the whole world. I think there's a few places like that, but definitely San Diego is supposed to be one of them. 53, where are you? Where are you? That's what she said. And Kiss Freak, I forget where you are. I haven't seen you in so long. It's good to see these people. You can she they
uh uh
they actually
uh
have snow there. I've lived in the mountains in California, in Arnold, California, and that's where they have a um a ski mountain. And yeah, that's been a few years, but
Yeah, yeah. The only snow that we have here is up in the mountains, where like Big Bear and like Arrowhead and all those places.
Yeah.
Those are the places that have snow and Mammoth and
Yeah.
all that stuff. But that's only when it is snowing up there. But since it's spring, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
the snow is not here
Right.
until next
Well,
winter. So
Northern
um,
Ontario, that's right. I thought you were in Canada. Did y'all know it snows? You can snow ski in Hawaii, right? Y'all do know that. On the Big Island? Yep. I swear, I promise. They have snow skiing there. Isn't that wild?
yeah, yeah. But the thing is the funny thing is I have never been to Hawaii, and I want to visit someday. And see all the pretty nature and the views and all
We
that
love
stuff. I'm
it.
not a big beach person, but I would like to see, all like the forest areas and the trees
That's what
and
we did.
plants and all that stuff.
We rented mopeds and went everywhere, and had a blast. But well, I guess you guys, if you're ready to start, Eric, we'll go ahead and people can trickle in. But
Yeah,
so
yeah,
without further ado, I thank everybody for being here. And Susie, I thank you. Oh, just real quick, just to let you know, no pressure or anything, but I'm gonna announce it at every live and video I make. I do have chat. I finally got enough subscribers and watch hours for the first stage of getting monetized, and that means I can get. I set up channel memberships. I think I have 3 levels, and I can get super stickers and I think super chat, something like that. But anyway, if y'all want to check it out. And with that being said, Eric, you're on.
yeah. Well, so here's my story. So a lot of you guys know about me, but I have dealt with high functioning autism since I was 5. So
Wow.
I've dealt with it for almost 33 years. So I've had it since 1992. So I've had it pretty a long time, that I've been dealing with. But the thing is, when I was born in '87, on March 3rd, on my day of my birthday, when I was born, the doctors diagnosed me with ADHD.
Oh, Susie,
And,
thank you so much. I'm sorry, Eric. I shouldn't have interrupted.
it's fine. But yeah, the doctors diagnosed me with ADHD.
Wow.
Um, since you know, and I was a hyper kid when I was a baby. I mean, I was like a year old. I was hyper, and all that stuff. So,
Well,
um,
can I ask something real quick? So,
yeah.
if people have autism, they're not necessarily born with it. It's something that you get later on, or is it both ways? Like,
Well. What I've noticed from friends I've been friends with on Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff. Um, I heard that with having autism and stuff, you don't get it until like you're already like a kid and stuff, or you get it later in life as an adult.
okay.
So so um
Hmm.
I've noticed from adults that they didn't get their autism diagnosis until they were like in their 50s or later, like 60s and up. But you
Well, they might
know
not have gotten diagnosed with it till then, but I'm just wondering if they've had it ever since they were born, or if they had it, since, like you said, 5, when you were diagnosed at 5, right?
Yeah.
Well, did they just misdiagnose you when you were born, do you think? Do you think you didn't have ADHD, but you had autism and they just got it wrong?
They might have, my parents that I live with, you
Yeah.
know, you know, they were trying to figure out, when I was born, from the doctors, if I was able to make it through. Like, there's some babies that don't make it, they die at birth, you
Right.
know, and with all the things that the doctors were doing with me and stuff,
Oh,
they you know, I made it through,
right.
I'm here, but but I mean, you know, you
They knew
know,
some, they knew something was wrong, but they weren't quite sure. Is that
yeah, they weren't really, yeah, they weren't really, um, you know, uh, really quite definite on what my diagnosis was,
right? Right.
so that's why they said, why don't we just diagnose him with ADHD and you know and and
Go from there.
yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Oh. Were you premature?
I don't think so. I don't remember.
You would probably know if you were.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think I was. I mean,
Yeah.
if I was that way, my you know, you
You would
know,
know. You would know.
yeah, I wasn't. I don't think I was.
Okay.
I was a preemie baby. But you know, I have photos of me as a baby. So that I have in my living room,
Right.
and when I'm living with my parents and stuff. I have a photo that I did when I was like maybe like 6 months old, maybe a year,
Yeah.
maybe that that they took me to like what is it like JC Penney, where they have
Yeah.
the those
Photo
photo things.
studio. Yeah.
Yeah,
I had to
yeah,
turn my fan up higher. Okay.
yeah, they took me to that, and they did a baby photos,
Yeah.
you know, of me. So like different different sides
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
me as a baby. Like, I had you know different looks and stuff, but
Right.
but 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 yeah. So I wasn't a preemie, but if I
And so,
was, I would have known,
right.
and but you
So
know but
at 5, you were diagnosed with autism. Was that when you started kindergarten or something?
no, that was in preschool. It
Oh,
was in
okay.
preschool.
And so
Yeah,
then what?
it was in preschool. So when I was diagnosed in '92, and I started preschool, around that time,
Right.
that's when I was at a preschool that was for people with disabilities and stuff.
Okay.
It was a school for that. You know,
That's good.
um, so 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 they the teachers there helped me through it, and a lot of my friends that I haven't seen in a long time. I mean, I'm still friends with one, but all the rest,
Wow.
they just went off on their own lives and all that stuff. They're probably not even on like Facebook or Instagram or any of that stuff. They probably are, just living their life and stuff. But but yeah, it was when it was in preschool where I had to learn my social skills and learn, you know, different words and, you know, and all that stuff. And I've had a learning disability since I was, you know, around that time, since I was like 5 or 6. I had, I was having trouble with words, saying the words and all that stuff,
Okay.
And then and then later when I was in elementary school, I started having a speech impediment, a speech problem with words and stuff. So
Okay.
so um so when that all started, I had to see a therapist, in schools and stuff, and like
Like a speech therapist?
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, so yeah, I had to take that all the way up from when I was in elementary school. Then on the middle school, I took another speech lesson and stuff, with the therapist and stuff. And then high school, I did the same thing. So it
Okay.
took me like, a lot of years for me to,
Yeah. Yeah,
you
it did.
know, for me to learn different words and stuff. So, but
Well,
but
thank goodness they had that available,
yeah,
the
yeah,
therapist available.
yeah. It was really 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 interesting, to have help, with my speech and stuff,
Yeah.
with people that are through the school system and stuff, and they have other people that. The other thing is when I was in middle school and high school,
Yeah.
they not it was not all like a one-on-one.
Yeah.
Like if it was me and the therapist, it was more than one person. It was like two or
Okay.
three people. Two or three
Okay.
more people that was dealing with the same thing.
Okay.
And so they brought them in with me, and and um and they were dealing with the same type of speech problem and all that stuff,
Right.
and and they were dealing with that. And so, but yeah, it it took me until I was like, well, I graduated in 2005, in high school. I graduated in 2005, but I was in special
Congratulations.
ed. Huh?
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. But the thing is I stayed another 4 more years.
Oh,
So
wow.
I was in special ed throughout,
Yeah.
elementary school, middle school, and high school.
Right.
So I had to, like, I got my diploma and all that, from the high school and stuff. But I had to stay a few more, 4 more years, to
To
do
stay
more
in therapy.
education and stuff.
I'm sorry. I
Uh,
shouldn't have been
the,
talking.
the,
A
I
few
was
more
saying
years to what?
to do more education in school.
Okay. To continue your therapy and
Yeah,
education. Okay.
yeah.
And
So
so, what was going at home during this time? Did your were your parents, did they help you at all, or you said you have a brother? Do you have any? Is that all you have? It's just you and your brother?
yeah,
Okay. And was your family very supportive and all that?
yeah. They were helpful.
Good, good. So you had a good family life at home, huh?
Yeah,
That helps.
yeah. So um,
And there's a
yeah,
question. Um, that's what she said. Ask Eric, are there medications that help you? Do they, when you're have autism, do they prescribe? I don't know what they would prescribe, but do they?
Well, the only thing they had was Adderall.
Oh,
That they had back then. Um, that helped with
that
with my autism and all that stuff.
does it, it helps with autism, huh? I didn't know that. I know it helps with ADHD. After my accident, and I went back to college when I was 50, and I fell on my frontal part of my brain right here, and I have adult ADHD, but the only time that it really shows is if I'm trying to study. But yeah, I know Adderall helped me tremendously. I couldn't have made it through without it, but I didn't know that autism they used it for autism also. That's interesting.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I had that, all the way until I was, maybe like 22. Maybe that's when it all, like, that when I had it since, you know. But then
Yeah.
after that, I was feeling some side effects from it. So
Yes.
I'm like, you know, so I stopped having the Adderall, and you know, you know, I didn't want to have anything, happen with my, my lungs, or anything happen
Absolutely.
with my, anything that happened with my, my heart or any of that stuff. So that's why
Right.
I stopped having having
The
you
medication.
know, yeah.
Oh,
But yeah, I've had meds, throughout my life, that you know put me through a lot of problems with pills and stuff. So um but 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 one thing that happened, so there was a pill that I had. I
uh-huh.
don't think they have it anymore, but they did back then. Um
What was
um
it?
well there is this name of this pill, um is Tegretol.
Um,
Uh,
hmm.
and it was a pill for ADHD and anxiety and all that stuff.
Huh.
And what happened with that is, you know, you know, the pills did help me, but it also affected my kidneys.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
It's not
after
good.
having the pills for a few years, you know, they started to fail.
Oh my
Both of my
goodness.
both of my kidneys, they both failed.
Wow.
And well, my parents had to take me to the hospital,
Yeah.
and put me there, put me in there, in the hospital room, and have surgery on it. And I
Wow.
mean, it wasn't a transplant or any of that stuff. It was they were trying to, like they do with the heart, they tried to pump the heart back up. That's what they were doing with the kidneys, trying to pump more, more for it to move, so
Wow.
it'll be able to, so the kidneys will be able to work and stuff. So that was when I was there. That's when I was like almost 13. So
Oh my
I was about to be
goodness.
13, and I was about to be 13. I was about to be 13 in March on the 3rd. So when the toxicity with my kidneys and stuff, that was in December of
Oh, wow.
'99.
Wow.
So
So
that was on.
young. So young to
Yeah,
have start to have kidney, what, failure? Do they call it?
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And that was the day of when it was New Year's. So it was about to be 2000, and and then and then and then
They operated,
yeah.
and so things were better after that. You got to go back to school.
Well, I had to take, since it was already New Year's and all that stuff, I didn't, start being back in school until I was
Oh,
100%, better,
right, right.
so um but but uh but yeah, so I was very, very, very happy that I'm still here and alive, after all of that happened.
I bet. Yeah, that's scary. Very scary.
Yeah.
And so
Um
after you got better from that, that was when you were 13. Then what was the next major thing?
this is another thing. So let's so I'm rewinding a little bit. So I'm
Okay.
rewinding my life a little bit.
Okay.
So so when I was 7 years old,
Mhm.
I started having really, 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 really bad uh problems with eating different foods.
Okay.
And the only thing I did eat when I was little was
Yeah.
mostly cereal.
Okay.
And 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 that's all I ate was, at breakfast time was cereal. And I wasn't, I think I don't remember if I did anything, lunch and dinner and all that stuff,
Right.
but but yeah, that's all I ate was cereal, every day.
Okay.
So 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 it's not the doctors, my parents
Yeah.
saw that I wasn't eating right or something is wrong. So 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 my mom said, why don't we see about, you know bringing me in the hospital and see if they're able to put in a feeding tube in my
Oh,
stomach
wow.
and see if that will help. Well,
Oh,
they did the procedure, open, where my stomach is, to put the feeding tube in.
that's pretty
You know,
drastic. That's a pretty drastic move.
yeah. So they did that, and well, after they put it in and all that stuff, I had to be on a feeding machine
Mhm.
for a lot of years. So after doing all that stuff, I tried to eat different foods and stuff. I tried eating, I tried to eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. That was like the first thing I tried.
That goes
And it
down
was it was
pretty
good. It
easy.
was good and stuff. But
Yeah.
but I'm not a jelly person. I'm not a jelly
Oh,
person. I only like peanut butter. That's the only thing I like is peanut butter
I
with
like
the bread and
both.
stuff.
I like both.
Yeah. Um. And then I started. When I was in school, they have the cafeteria and stuff. Where they have where they have the food and stuff.
Yes.
You know. So when I was in high school, um I tried to eat uh different the only foods they had was what is it? What is it? They had pizza.
Yeah.
I wasn't a pizza person back then. When I was little, I wasn't a
Well,
pizza person.
school pizza is different than like real pizza, you know?
Yeah. So the only thing the pizza they had was the only cheese pizza,
Yeah.
and I'm not a fan of cheese now. I haven't I've been a fan of cheese since I was like 14.
Yeah.
So I just don't like the taste of cheese. I don't like anything with cheese on it. If it's like
Wow. Okay.
a burger or if it's on like spaghetti that I love and stuff, or if it's on you know if it's on pizza, I want
Yeah.
to eat it. So,
Yeah.
so, you know, but, yeah, those are, then the thing is I didn't have burgers until I was an adult. I didn't start eating
Wow.
burgers, I was into fries, when I was younger and stuff, like fast food places, it's like McDonald's or
Yeah.
Burger King or any of those places. That's the only
Yeah.
thing I did eat. While I was having the feed tube and stuff, was having the fries.
Right.
But, 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 but when I had burgers and all that, that didn't start until I was like, when I was like maybe like in my early 20s.
Wow.
So,
So
so
how long did the feeding tubes have to stay in?
they removed it when I was 18.
Oh wow, you had it a long time.
Yeah. So, um, but yeah. So after a while, after a while and all that, you know, when I was on the feed tube and stuff, I did have spaghetti. My mom, made spaghetti for me and stuff, with the sauce and all that stuff,
Right.
that they use, that we buy at the store and all that stuff, if it's like Prego, Ragu, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, so I did have spaghetti when I was on the feed tube and stuff, but you know, but you know, but after that, I didn't start eating different foods until it was removed. So that's when
Right.
I started having the burgers, and I um started having um different types of foods. Now here's a funny story.
Okay.
So um when I was with my ex girlfriend, we dated for like 7.5 years. We're not together anymore. She broke up with me and stuff. But
Yeah.
4 years ago.
Okay.
But me and her used to go out every night to if we went to see a movie, and we decided let's go out and have a bite to eat and stuff. You
Okay.
know, so we did that, and the nearest place that's where the theater was,
Yeah.
where the theater was it was pretty far. It was like maybe 2 miles at
Okay.
least. You know, we had to walk and stuff, but it was enough to have exercise and stuff. But
Right. Right.
but the place we went to, well, you might not have it where you're at, or people in the chat, they might not have it where they're at. But there's this place named Del Taco.
Yes.
That
Yes.
you know
Yes. I'm familiar, but
yeah. So we went there, and I was like, I was seeing what was on the menu and all that stuff. They had burgers that I already loved, at the time, but I wanted to try a taco.
yeah.
So I did, and I loved it. You
Oh,
know, you
good.
know, it, yeah. So all I asked for was the lettuce the meat and no cheese, since I'm not a cheese person. So I
Right.
asked them. So I only asked them for the lettuce and the meat. So
Right.
they did that, and then they had their sauce. I'm not a hot sauce person, but they had like mild or medium
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know, So I did that with the sauce, the mild sauce with the taco, and it made it more better to eat, and
Right.
all that. But
Right.
but one thing that I have a problem with food and stuff is the bottom of the taco. If it's a
Uh-huh.
hard taco or a soft taco,
Uh-huh.
it falls apart. Like the meat falls through it,
Yeah.
you know. And that's one thing. One
Especially if
thing
it's
I
greasy. If it's good and greasy, it sure will fall through.
Yeah. But but yeah. Um. So yeah, that was the next food I tried.
Oh,
When I was in my adult years. You know.
okay.
So after that, I started having, you know, I started having more tacos. When I'm able to, eat out and stuff.
Right.
But 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 then I decided, there's this place that a lot of you might know about well, they also have tacos. They don't have burritos, at this place. They have burgers and fries and other things. But it's Jack in the Box.
Oh, that's my favorite tacos. Those are my favorite tacos. Yes.
Yeah, so me and my ex went there, on one of the weekends that we were planning to be out and stuff and hang out and
Right.
stuff. So that's where we went. After we were in the outdoor mall area that we have, where there's little stores and little restaurants
Right.
and
Right.
all that stuff.
Right.
So after we were done with that, we decided to walk over the Jack in the Box, to have food and stuff. So I never tried their tacos before, So when we went there, I normally normally ordered the burgers and fries, but I didn't want to fulfill my stomach with all that food. So I was like, why don't I just have the tacos and the fries and just have
Right.
that,
Right.
so that way, um, I have that. So when the food, was ordered and stuff, and I brought it to the table, I tried it with their mild sauce and
Mhm.
all that for the first time, and I fell in love, and I was like, I love
Oh,
these burgers. Not burgers, I mean tacos.
their tacos are
The
they're
burgers I had before, the burgers I had from that place from before, but I had,
Jack in the
that's
Box
when I had the
tacos
tacos.
are so greasy, but they're so
Yeah,
good. They like pre-make them and they stick the whole damn thing down in the fryer and fry it, and then we pull it out. They put a little lettuce and some salsa on there, but yeah, they just like stick the whole thing with the hard shell, the cheese, and the cheese is kind of I think it's American. It's American cheese or Velveeta, some processed cheese. It's not even like a good Mexican cheese like Monterey Jack or something. I swear it's American or Velveeta. It's their tacos are so funny, but they're so good.
yeah, yeah. But like for a place
Excuse me,
that
real
has,
quick, Deb. This is Eric Levitt. He's talking to us about what it's like to live with autism. He's a high functioning autistic man. So yeah, that's who it is. Sorry about that, Eric. She didn't know who I had here. Oh,
Yeah.
I don't have your name up. It's in the title somewhere. Sorry about that. So you had your feeding tube taken out, and you got to start experiencing different foods, and you you can eat regular now, right?
Yeah. I mean, I've been starting to have different foods here and there. You know. You know. The you know the next thing I did have. Well, I tried. For the first time. Well, I've had it before. I mean, you know. It's well, it was something different, but is I started having BLTs.
Oh, can't go wrong with
Yeah,
the BLT.
yeah. But the thing is, and the funny thing is I don't like tomatoes. I mean, I like it with that is if it's ketchup, or if it's like the sauce that you put on spaghetti, or if it's the
Yeah,
sauce that you
yeah.
put on tacos and stuff.
I
But
know
I'm
what
not
you
a
mean.
tomato person. I don't like tomatoes on my burgers. I don't like tomatoes on my BLTs. So I only have the bacon and lettuce, and I mean
Okay.
that's fine. I mean I only have it with the bacon and lettuce. On the on the
Right, on the bread. It's
on
good
the
with avocado if you like avocados.
yeah. Yeah, I'm not a guacamole person. I mean, that's the other thing is I'm not a guacamole person.
A
But
what?
I do love chips and salsa here and there.
Oh,
Like the tortilla chips with the
yes,
salsa and stuff.
yes,
You know,
yes.
I do like that. With having with having it as a little snack and stuff.
Yes,
But
yes.
I mean, you know, one thing I did try something new, and I tried this like a month ago. It might have been a
Yeah.
month ago. I don't remember. But so Amazon has food that's delivered in is from Canada, and they deliver it from Canada all the way to California. There's different things that they have that the U.S. doesn't have
Oh,
and
really?
stuff. Yeah, and what I
Like
did
what?
try, well, I have to say, what it is, and I did like it. I did like it. It's ketchup chips.
Oh, huh.
Yeah,
Interesting. Interesting.
yeah, yeah.
I'm not a
So
real
for
ketchup person. I mean, I like it on some things, but I don't eat it with my French fries. Ketchup.
yeah,
I use
yeah.
mustard.
So yeah, yeah. So I tried the Pringles ones. They have a Pringles ones that's on
Whoa.
Amazon. So I
Yeah,
tried that and I loved it. And
yeah,
then this past weekend, I tried the ones that are the Lay's potato chips.
yeah.
And I mean, I like the original Lay's and all that stuff. I mean, I
Me
like the
too.
wavy, Lay's, and
Yeah,
in some ways, but
yeah,
it's hard on my teeth and stuff.
yeah.
So, so I tried the ketchup Lay's, and it had the same taste as the Pringles.
Oh, wow.
Believe it, to believe,
Wow. Hey,
So
Deb is asking, Eric, do you have a hobby or do you like to play games? I guess like board games or anything like that?
well, I do have both of those things. First, I'll tell the hobby.
Okay.
So when I was in my teens,
Yeah.
in some sort of way, I've been buying these diecast cars, like these like model cars and stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm a car person. I love cars, different types of cars. You know, new cars, old cars, classics, whatever. But I started buying these like 1/18 scale toy
Yeah.
cars that they
Yeah.
have in they have it at Target, they have it at Walmart, they have it at all different stores.
Right. Right.
So I started buying all these different cars, and I have well, over the years, over the past 20 plus years, you know, I have about like, at least between 40 to 50 cars.
Oh, cool. Cool. Wow. That's a big collection.
Yeah. Um but yeah, and with games and all that, I mean, if you're saying board games and stuff,
Yeah.
I have too many favorites that I am able to keep track. I have so many favorites that I love and stuff.
Oh,
But
really?
like but yeah, but like what I used to play when I was little and stuff was mainly Monopoly.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that was like the main game that I always played, when we
If
had
you're
family game night and stuff. So
if you don't like a Monopoly, then you're not American.
yeah. But
uh, I'm joking.
yeah. But 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 yeah, but I played all different games, like this Scrabble. I love Scrabble. That's one of the other games I love is Scrabble.
Yeah, I love Scrabble too. That's the only game I have on my phone, but I don't play it very often. Wait, there's a couple more questions too. Um, that's what she said. Eric, how do you like being in this YouTube space? What are the pros and the cons?
Well, the thing is I've been on YouTube since 2013, July of 2013. Well, July 30th is when my anniversary is. It'll
Okay.
be 12 years.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Um, you know, for how I love it. I
Uh-huh.
mean, it's it's interesting, with people,
Yeah.
with people that that are on it, but there are people that have interesting topics, like they have different topics that they want to bring up if they're doing a video or they're doing a live, and they're doing different topics,
Yes, you
that's
can
something
find
that I want to know
everything.
about these people.
You can find everything and learn just about anything you want to learn on YouTube, in my opinion. Someone has made a video about it. Like if you don't know how to do something, you can bet someone has made a video on how to do it. That's what I have found anyway. Um,
Yeah, yeah, but that's what she said. I think that's what it was. That's what she
uh-huh.
said.
Yes.
Yeah. Um. Um. The with the cons and all that is what's been happening lately is the bullies. I despise bullies. I hate them. And it's like no one has love in their heart, and it's sad for those people,
Yeah.
that don't understand what a person with autism has dealt with throughout my 38 years of life.
Yeah,
And
and not just people with autism, trauma people, and just people in general. Everybody, in my opinion, has dealt with things in their life, and bullies. There's no place for them. You're absolutely right.
yeah, yeah, and I've dealt with my you know my life with bullies when I was in elementary school.
I bet
um
kids aren't nice to other kids. That's for sure.
yeah, I mean, I mean, man, but now, this didn't. So the bullying didn't also didn't start when I was in school, in elementary school,
Oh.
but it did in my neighborhood.
Oh.
So there was a neighborhood bully,
Oh,
and
wow.
he was about a lot older than me. He was about, I have to say, maybe like 11 or 12 at
Wow.
least. And I was like a little tiny thing. I was like 7 or 8 years old. I was a little tiny thing. So, you know, so he was a bully, like a big bully with with all the madness in his life and stuff.
Yeah.
So, but he's not in my neighborhood anymore. I think after what he did and stuff, I think his parents, you know, uh, you know, turn him to some, military school or something like that, or
Right.
some
Right.
some some
Some
place
place
that
for
helps with that.
troubled kids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think that's what they did and stuff. But
That's good.
but 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 yeah. So
Okay. And
but
I don't want to miss Aaron's question either, because he had another one on there about food, but it was up there earlier. I and I didn't I skipped over it because I forgot it was up there. But he says, um, Eric, avocado, chili, onion rings, or bacon.
well, if you're saying bacon and it's a part of a BLT, I've already had that. So
Yeah.
you
Um,
know. But avocado, I would not have. Chili, I tried once. I didn't like
you
the
only
taste of
tried
it.
chili once, really?
Yeah, it was from Wendy's.
Wendy's.
Wendy's has the chili and stuff.
Yeah.
So I did try that once. I didn't like the taste of it. Onion
Homemade
rings.
homemade
Now with
chilies.
onion
Homemade
rings,
chilies a lot better.
yeah.
Chili is good with Fritos. Fritos chips. If you ever have chili again, throw a handful of Fritos in with it.
Yeah. The funny thing is with Fritos is those are hard on my teeth also. They're like the wavy lays or the
Right,
ruffles or stuff.
right,
It's like sensitive to my teeth and stuff. So
right. The chili softens them up, but
yeah,
chili can
but
be a little spicy.
yeah, but what Aaron said about onion rings is
Uh-huh.
is I've never been a fan of them. My mom is. My mom has had onion
Ooh.
rings. And has had them before. But I'm not a fan of onion rings. I'm not a fan of onions.
Oh, a good onion
You
ring
know,
is hard to beat.
yeah.
Jack in the
But
Box
but the
actually
thing,
has really good onion rings.
yeah. But the thing is, with onions and stuff, my mom used to make onions in the foods that she makes for Thanksgiving and stuff, and
Yeah.
the smell of it, it made me like didn't like the smell of it, and it made me
Uh,
cry a little bit, teary eyed and
yes.
whatever,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Well, I'll tell
um
you, though, when you cry, that's with raw onions. If you're cutting up a raw onion, and you can either run it under cold water, which helps a little bit. But if you breathe through your mouth while you're cutting a raw onion, you won't cry. You cry when it goes up through your sinuses. But if you breathe through your mouth, you won't cry. So there's a little tidbit of information for you guys.
yeah.
There's another question. What's your favorite Lego theme?
Well, I was very bad at Legos. I was really horrible at it.
Okay.
When I was a kid. We you know but my brother, um he was more at building Legos than me. He
Okay.
had more of his way of building things. So
Right.
I'm not a fan of Legos. I mean,
Okay.
there
That's
was
fair. That's fair.
huh
How about your favorite movie or TV show?
Oh, well, you're saying that. Well, I do have my all-time favorite TV show. But I have so many favorites. I have so many
Yeah.
favorites that I'm not able to. I might have to tell this on my live stream
Okay.
when I do one.
Okay. That's
But my
fair.
all-time favorite series, it has to be Seinfeld. I love Seinfeld.
Oh, yeah. That was hilarious. That
Yeah,
was hilarious.
yeah. That's like my number one favorite series of all time. So you
Okay.
know
That's a good choice. Good choice.
now for
And
movies, no, no,
of the
but
movie, yeah.
yeah, he was saying so for movies. I have so many favorites, like like with TV series and stuff. I have a lot of favorites. But like, what if I had to pick one? If I had to
Yes.
pick one movie that I would see a million times, it would have to be. It would have to be. Well, this is funny. It's a Thanksgiving movie, and
Okay.
it's Plane, Trains, and Automobiles.
Oh, that's funny. I
Yeah,
saw
that's a movie I would see any day of the week, any day, any month of the year. I would see it. Mm.
I saw that not too long ago, or at least part of it I saw. It's pretty funny. Oh, someone wants to know if you have any pets.
Well, almost hit the wrong button. Um, um, I have a cat named Shadow, and she's a Russian blue.
Oh,
Um,
a
and she's
what? She's a
16.
what?
She's six, she's 16 years old.
Wow. And what kind did you say she was?
A Russian blue.
Russian blue. I've never heard of that. But I'm not a cat person, so of
Well,
course I
what a
wouldn't
Russian
know.
blue is, it's like a short-haired cat that's all gray.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
understand.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what mine is. It's like a short-haired cat.
Okay. Hi, Miss Dawn's here, and there's other people I didn't say hi to. Miss Buttercup and who else? There's a few people in here. I'm not trying to miss all of y'all. I just don't want to like interrupt while Eric's talking. But 13 cats Miss Dawn has. Oh my gosh, I cannot even imagine. Oh my goodness. Oh wow. And Eric, your cat is 16. That's getting up there. But cats can live a lot longer than that. I mean, I've heard of them living into their 20s, right?
Yeah. A lot of animals live a long life, but with mine, not on wood and stuff. You
Yeah.
know, my my cat, outlived my other cats. That I've had. I've had Maine Coons. That's what I've had. I had two of those. You know, you know.
I've heard of those, but I forget exactly what they are. Are they those real big cats?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I had two of those. One was named Smokey, and another one was Bella. But
Ah.
but 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 they passed away a long time ago.
Oh.
Smokey lived to be 15. So he passed when he was that age. Bella was 13 when she passed.
Oh wow.
Um, so so with Shadow, you know, she's older than all the other cats I've had. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, you know, um, you know, you know, but yeah, I saw a question.
Did I miss one? I might have missed one.
Yeah, Buttercup
Do you
said
remember what it
something.
was?
Yeah, it was what's your favorite music band
Oh yeah, that's
and
right. Right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So what's your
Yeah,
answer?
yeah. So well, I have a lot of favorites, but if I had to pick
Yeah.
with what type of music I love like I love all different types of music, but there's there's some that I don't really like and stuff. But
Yeah.
I'm more of like a 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s type of music person. So with
Okay.
music and stuff, I love the Beatles, from the 60s. I love Rolling Stones,
Uh-huh.
all that. But like from the 70s and all that, that's like the disco era. I like Donna Summer. You
Ah,
know, um, I
um,
like you
Men at
know,
Work,
um,
Men at Work, and that was kind of
yeah,
80s.
but like from the 80s, my all time. Well, I have two all time favorites. Is
Okay.
Hall and Oates and Duran Duran.
Okay.
Those are my two favorite all time favorite bands that I love.
Wow.
Um, you know, you know, If and the other thing is if I saw any of them in concert, no. I would love to. I would love to see Duran Duran in concert if they were in California, but
I,
the tickets are so expensive nowadays.
yeah, I know. How about
They're so hard to.
90s? How about
You
90s
know,
during the grunge stage? 90s music. Do you have any favorites from then?
from what?
90s, the 90s?
Um. Well, I love NSYNC. Like bye
Um,
bye bye,
I don't
or
know
it's
any.
gonna be me.
Yeah, I don't know any of that. Any of those
Well,
songs.
they're a pop boy band from the
Yeah,
late 90s.
yeah. I was more into like Alice in Chains and Soundgarden and Pearl Jam, stuff like that. My all-time favorite band, though, all time, is Pink Floyd. Yep, Pink Floyd. I have a Pink Floyd shirt on actually right now.
Yeah, yeah. That's one band I love, but um you know um but yeah. So Um, but if I was able to see Pink Floyd in concert, if the ticket prices were not so expensive, I would
Yeah,
see them, or I see Hall and Oates or Duran Duran, or well, I know Hall and Oates aren't performing together. I heard
right.
some things, but Duran Duran, if the prices were not that expensive, then I would see
Yeah,
them, in the
right.
front, front and center, that you see them see them up close. But they're like, like $400 or up to
Yeah,
1,000,
I know.
or
It's
more.
ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
but I mean,
have you ever met any
oh
have you ever met anyone famous? Lord Kiss Freak met, you know who Shannon Tweed is?
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not a Kiss band person,
Me
but
neither. Me
I
neither.
used to be, but their music, stress on my head, and it's like, you
Uh,
know, you know, so yeah,
I
I stay
couldn't
away
tell
from
you
that
one
band.
of
I
their
stay away from
songs.
that. But I used to love it, but not anymore.
I couldn't tell
But
you
but
one of their songs, but I know who Shannon Tweed is though.
yeah, she's married to I think Gene Simmons,
Yeah.
or was. I don't know if
Yeah.
she still
I
is,
don't know
but
if they still are. Fleetwood Mac, yes, I love Fleetwood Mac too. But one more question, and then I'm gonna see if you have any like things, any last things you want to say, or if you stuff you might not have said yet. But the Question from Deb says, "Do you like to draw or do art stuff?"
Um, I used to do that, when I was in my teens and younger, when I was little. I used to draw like coloring books and all
Yeah,
that stuff.
yeah,
Or I'm not a fan of paint. I like to be, I did that when I was in school. We did like
yeah,
paint time and stuff. And it was hard for me to rinse all the paint off my hands and stuff.
yeah, yeah.
If I had some on my hands and stuff. So I'm not a paint person, that does
Okay.
paint, and stuff.
Right,
But
right.
I like to draw. Like I used to draw with, crayons
Yeah.
or marker or pencil or pen or whatever. Like I did that, but I'm really horrible at it. I mean, I'm really really horrible.
Yeah,
With how I draw
I
and
can
stuff.
paint, but I can't draw very well, that's for sure. But I am an artist, but I do different stuff. But hey, who's your favorite person to time out on Miss Dawn's channel? She said you would
Yeah,
laugh.
I know that response is Papa Smurf. He's
Oh,
always the one that
okay.
always has to time out when he
He's
says
a hoot, huh?
when he the thing is with Papa Smurf he likes this song that a lot of us hate
Oh,
and it's the Baby Shark song.
oh
Infant Fish is
gosh.
what
Oh
Dawn
my
says it.
goodness.
Yeah, I despise that song. I hate that song. Even when Papa Smurf wants to sing that song, I always tell him, "No, you're not allowed to sing that song in Dawn's live, or I'll put you on timeout for 10 seconds or a minute." You
Oh
know?
goodness. He's funny, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah. So,
so anything
but
else you want?
yeah, but yeah. But but yeah. Someone asked me about if I met any famous
Oh
people.
yeah,
Someone
yeah.
asked that.
Me.
Someone asked that.
I did.
Well,
Uh-huh.
well, um, um, I have, and I'm also friends with them on Facebook and
Oh,
Instagram. So
oh,
not only if I didn't meet them in person,
uh-huh.
I meet them virtually on, like social media and stuff.
Who's
But
that?
for the people I have met, so in Culver City where I'm at in California, we have this annual car show that has classic cars that people want to show off and all that stuff.
Uh-huh.
Well, they had a lot of celebrities there, and I met a few. I met uh do you remember the series 77 Sunset Strip from the 60s?
I remember I don't yes, I know what you're talking about.
Well, I met Ed Burns that played Vince Fontaine from Greece.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. So that's one of the people I did meet. The other
Okay.
person I met was Eddie Munster from the Munsters.
Wow. What's his real name?
Butch Patrick.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So he was nice, I have an autograph from him,
Cool.
that I got from that he signed and all that stuff. So I still have it.
Cool.
Um 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 I did want to meet Joe Montana from the series Criminal Minds.
Yes.
Yeah, he was there at the car show, but I
Okay.
missed him like by like 1 second. He was
Oh,
about to leave. He was
okay.
about to leave, and head home and stuff. But I found
Right.
out that his I think his son and his daughter, I think they both have autism, is what I
Oh,
found out.
wow.
So so but yeah, so yeah, I met a few celebrities, at the car show,
Okay.
oh, do you know a guy named George Barris?
No.
Well, he used to customize all the movie and TV cars from back in the 60s.
Okay.
And he used to restore them, and and um and I
He would
met
go to
him.
the car show.
Yeah, I met him. I think I still have his autograph somewhere. Um, you know, um, Another person I did meet. Now you and everyone here must know this person, Elvira.
Yes.
I met her. Her name is Cassandra Peterson. That's her
Yes.
real name.
You meet a lot of people from that kind of monster group, huh? Elvira and who did you say? The Munster guy?
Rich Patrick.
Yeah.
Yeah. I met a lot of celebrities at the car show. But if I did want to meet someone that I met virtually on Facebook, if they were in California, if they live in California, that's the thing. Then
Yeah.
I would ask them, would you like to meet up and maybe have a coffee? No, I'm a coffee person, but the
Yeah.
only thing I love is Starbucks. That's the only place I love is Starbucks. But but um but like I would ask them, would you like to go out for a cup of coffee or something like that,
Who?
and maybe
Who are
we'll
you
talk.
talking about? Who are you talking about?
The people that I'm friends with on Facebook, the celebrities.
Right, but you can't say who they are?
Well, I have a ton, but
Oh, okay.
the guy from Seinfeld, the one that says "No soup for you."
I'm not sure.
Well,
I'm
well, the soup
I'm a bad
Nazi, the soup.
person to ask about like
Yeah,
movie
his
stars. I
his
don't
name
know about that
is yeah, his name is Larry Thomas,
one.
and he was the soup Nazi on Seinfeld.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't know.
Yeah, yeah,
That's what she
that's
said.
who I would love to meet. But he travels a lot. He
They
travels a
know who
lot,
you're
and
talking to, in the chat. They know who you were talking about.
yeah. Yeah, I would love to meet that person. He seems like a nice guy, and have a cup of coffee with him and talk and all that stuff. But
I want to meet Joe Rogan and Candace Owens. They're my two favorite.
I know who he is, but I don't know who the other person is.
Oh, he's like what, the second biggest YouTuber there is besides what's that one kid, Mr. Beast or something? Yeah, Joe Rogan has the biggest podcast in the world on YouTube.
Yeah, but I was saying about I know who Joe Rogan is, but I don't
Oh,
know who Candace Owens is.
oh, I'm sorry, I got it mixed up. Candace Owens, she's just she used to I can't remember if she was on. She's a journalist. She's an independent journalist now. She has a YouTube channel, and she's very, very smart. And she goes after people, and like she hates liars, so she'll expose people for their lies. Anyway, um, yeah. Her name's Candace Owens. If you ever want to look her up, she's very, very intelligent, and she will call people out for their shit. She has a
Yeah,
show.
yeah. Does she have a YouTube? I'll have to
Yes,
to see.
yes, yes. It's Candace, Candace, and then Owens. Yeah,
Yeah,
she's
you
very
know, I
she's very much on the right, but she's cool. She's not Anyway, just check her out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One other person I do want to meet so badly,
Uh-huh.
so badly. Um, well, it's another TV series that I do love. It's Kirby Enthusiasm.
Yeah. I'm not.
Yeah, that's another series I do love, and and I really do want to meet Larry David, the man that did Seinfeld. I want
Oh,
to meet him so badly, like so badly.
which one is he?
You remember the series Fridays from back in the 80s?
Mm-mm. No.
Well, he was I don't know if he was on I think he was on the series, but I don't know, I never saw the series, but yeah, he was a writer for SNL.
Oh,
Um
the comedian?
yeah. Yeah, that's who I want to meet. I want to meet him since I do love stand-up comedy
Yeah.
and I do voice impressions. I'm planning on doing that on my channel and stuff at some
Oh,
point.
cool. Cool, cool, cool.
But but um but um but but yeah, that's who I want to meet is Larry David. He's like one of my idols of Seinfeld and Curb Enthusiasm, and me and
Right.
him have a lot of things in common. You
Oh,
know,
cool. Cool.
one thing is well, this is the thing that I've had since I was like 4 years old, or no, maybe five at least.
What?
Is I hate the Happy Birthday song.
Really?
He hates it. He hates it he hates that song like no one's business. He's like,
That's
I
funny.
hate the Happy Birthday song, and I don't like it.
That's funny.
but 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 yeah, so yeah, me and him will if I ever met him, I'll be like, I'll be like, I'll be like to him, I'll be like, I heard you don't like the Happy Birthday song, and so do
Uh-huh.
I. So that's what I would
Uh-huh.
tell him. I was like,
What's the deal with
so
airline?
that's what I would tell him.
Aaron said, what's the deal with airline food? What does that mean?
Oh, that's what Jerry Seinfeld does
Oh, okay.
in his
Okay.
series and stuff. He's like,
Oh,
what's the deal with what's the deal with airline food, or he does different things on in
oh,
his
okay.
stand up.
Okay. I get it now.
But
Oh,
but
well, okay, Eric. Do you have anything else we should know, or
well, there is one thing. There's
okay,
one thing I didn't bring up that I do want to address.
okay,
That I want to bring up to everyone is is well, this is the thing that really gets on my nerves, and it really makes me upset, is when people say the R word. You
the
know,
R,
you know,
uh,
the R word. You know the R word,
you mean as far as
like
what?
mental retardation.
Oh. Okay, no, I didn't know what you were talking about.
Yeah, that R
Okay.
word. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. When people say the R word, yeah,
But see, a lot of like growing up, we used to say, we used to say like all the time, guy, I feel like a retard, or you're acting so retarded. But we never meant it like really what it means. We would say it like I feel like a retard, like I feel so silly. Or when I would tell my sister, you're acting like a retard, I meant like she was acting silly or crazy, or you know what I mean. But I understand what you mean also.
yeah, yeah. When I hear someone say that, I'm like, I address them, and I tell them if they're doing a live or any of that stuff. I say, I say, that's an offensive and derogatory word, and don't say that. Say that word, it offends people with
Yeah,
disabilities and special needs and all that stuff. So,
right. I can
and I was
understand
tell,
that now, but if you do have to understand, like I'm a lot older than you, but during and like Eat More Pizza said it was very prevalent growing up, and that's true, but we didn't use it in the way that you're talking about. But if you see an old person like 60, I'm 62, if it would slip out from my mouth, which it wouldn't on YouTube, but like my sister, I might say it to her or something. um I just want you to understand that in our generation, we did say that a lot, but not in the derogatory way, you know.
yeah,
But yeah, I think people nowadays, there's a few things that people don't or shouldn't use that like we used to use for sure. And people should not get offended if like they're corrected or yeah, sorry, but I just wanted to interrupt and tell you that. I hate interrupting, but I had to say it anyway. But yeah, I can understand why it would be offensive. And a lot of people would say it just to be offensive, you know.
yeah, yeah. It's like my mom used to say it when she was young. She used to say the word back then,
Yeah.
but when she had me and stuff, she was like, I'm not
Yeah.
saying this word, in
Yeah.
front of my kid
Right.
and all that stuff. So,
It's a
you
respect thing.
know,
Yeah. And Eat More Pizza says, as guys, we um, meant it. He said times were different, and hopefully we've grown. That's Susie said, yeah, it was very prevalent. The culture has changed, and hopefully some things have faded away. Yeah, and I think most people, and those of us that are um, are sensitive and try to be sensitive to other people's feelings, like people here, and I try real hard. I do not want to say things that are offensive to people, even if I'm mad at them. Well, I've done some I've done some videos like that weren't that kind to like Mike Rinder or something like that when I just couldn't hold my tongue any longer. But yeah, in general, I think people have grown away from that, like Eat More Pizza said, you know.
yeah. But there is
I'm glad you mentioned it. Yeah. Go ahead. I won't
yeah.
interrupt.
Yeah, there's one other thing before we end off. If anyone
Okay.
has any other last minute questions
Okay.
that they would like to ask me, feel free, before we end off. But I would like to say to Deb, who is it? Doing it Deb's way. I would like to say it's nice to meet you. Hopefully you will be able to subscribe to me if you haven't.
Oh yeah.
Um,
What's the name of your channel, Eric?
I'll put it in the chat. Let me
I don't know if they'll let you. Oh, you can put the channel name. Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
but yeah, Deb, doing it Deb's way. Yeah, it's really nice to meet you, and I hope we'll be able to meet again. Um, and everyone here that I already know, like Eat More Pizza, and that's what she said, and Lord Treat,
Yeah.
I know those people, so
Yeah.
it's nice to see them again,
It
and
is.
yeah,
It
seeing
is
old friends that have been on my channel and all that stuff, and
right.
and also Yadira, she's my
Yadira's
mod,
here. Yeah. Um,
you know.
what was I going to say? Oh, this is what I want to do. If there's anybody listening, and you too, Eric, if anybody wants to get together with me and have a game night, I want to do that, but I never can get anyone to like help me with it. I have all kinds of like,
I would participate. I wouldn't mind.
okay, well, I'll put you on
As
the
I said, I
list.
do love games.
I'll put you
You
on the
know.
list. And I think, Brian Lucas, the From a Poet, Brian, he said that he would do it too. So I'm going to try to get that together because
Yeah,
we need to laugh.
yeah, I think so. Yeah, so one other thing. If you
Igor
haven't
Keith that
tried it,
cheats says he cheats too much.
well, wait till I come in this. I'm a pro at not video games. I mean, I do play video games, but also board games and all the other stuff.
I've never played a
But
video game in my life ever.
yeah, I grew up on like Nintendo and PlayStation, like PS1, 2,
Yeah,
3, 4. I want to have the fifth one, but they're so expensive.
I'm too old.
But I used to play Grand Theft Auto like a ton of times. Grand Theft Auto is a video game, and
Oh,
I used to play that all the time.
okay.
Growing up. You know, but yeah, but like the main. Well, it's not a board game; it's a card game. Not like Texas Hold'em or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah.
But one of my all-time favorite card games that I love is Uno.
Oh, yeah. I don't care for that too much. Um, Deb, I mean, that's what she said. I'm not sure what kind of game, but I have kind of like Trivial Pursuit type games, and I think I have something against humanity or something I've never even opened. I don't know. I have boxes in there. I would have to figure it out. So, but
Well, 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 as you know, I do love trivia, and I
yeah,
do love Trivial Pursuit.
yeah, I
You
think it
know.
would have to be some kind of game like that. But I do have a box that says would you rather, and then it gives you two choices, and some of them are really funny. I don't know. There's some funny card games that
Yeah,
so
yeah.
yeah.
I think those would be fun. I mean, I would participate.
Okay.
And if whenever you plan it, you know,
Yeah,
uh,
I'll
I'll
let
play
everybody
along and
know.
all that. So
I'll let everybody know, believe me. But Deb said that she just subbed to you, and Susie says she sucks at games, but she might mod. So anyway, okay. Well, this has been wonderful. It's been about an hour and a half, and Susie, I appreciate you and love you so much for helping me out tonight. And really, we didn't even need a mod. Everybody's been minding their P's and Q's. And gosh, I appreciate that so much. I am looking for a mod or two. I know Eric said he would do it. And anyway, everybody, if you'll sub to, if anybody has a channel and y'all want to put your channel name in the chat, feel free to. I don't care if you do that or not. If you haven't subbed here, I wish you would please, and do the YouTube things. And I'm gonna I think tomorrow morning have a live stream where I'm going to either be working with my metal, like making metal jewelry, like out of copper, and I have a patina. See the blue? I put a natural patina on copper. That is copper under the blue. But I'm making like earrings like that, and I might do a watercolor painting class. But art is wonderful therapy. If y'all don't know it, you might try it. You don't have to be good. I don't draw good, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Susie, Susie is acting like me now.
What?
She was saying, let me find it. She was saying next time I will have to boot pizza just for laughs. We'll put him on timeout for like 10 seconds at least. Put him. That's the only thing I do with Papa Smurf is 10 seconds or
Right,
a minute.
right,
That's all I'm
right.
able to do. So
It's
if you
good
want
to
to time
have
out pizza, put
fun.
it for 10 seconds anyways.
Susie, send me your address and I will send you these earrings for doing this for me. How about that? You have to wait till I get paid. I know we just got paid, but I don't even have like $5 for a postage. But no, really, I'll send you a pair. Um, they are kind of cool. But yeah, on some of my live streams, I showed how I got that natural patina by putting it in an airtight bowl and poured some ammonia in there and let it sit overnight. And the copper turned blue. It's pretty cool. I do stuff like that. But
Yeah.
anyway, I told you
Another
to get Susie.
yeah, another thing I want to say to Susie, when I was on your live earlier, your granddaughter is super smart. Like she helped you a lot while you were live, and kids are a way of helping out their adults and stuff, and that's the way of
Who
doing
was
that,
it? Who
huh?
was it, Eric? Who are you talking
Susie's
about?
granddaughter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, her,
Yeah,
yeah,
I haven't watched the recent one, but I have seen her before. Yeah.
yeah. She's very helpful. Yeah, yeah. Oh, 7. Yeah, that's nice. That's nice that she's helpful and all that. Yeah, yeah. That's
Cute,
helpful. That's
cute,
helpful,
cute,
Susie.
cute, cute. It would be fun to have Susie as a grandmother, huh?
Well, I already have a grandmother, and that's Tori.
Oh, okay. She's
Yeah,
sweet too.
she's my YouTube grandma. Is Tori.
She's very sweet too. Yes. Yes, she is. But and eat more pizza. Yeah, I remember eat more pizza about the earring kit. I remember. Okay. So thanks again, Eric. And like I said, I love this community. The nice ones, of course, we all know, but I appreciate you being here. And I hope I didn't miss saying hi to anyone. I think I got most of it right. But if anybody is ready to tell their story, you can email me. And my email is so easy. Let me do it real quick. Oops. What happened? It went off. It's my name, Kelly, and then sptv@gmail. It's real simple. If anybody is ready to tell their story, I would love for you to come on and do that. It's healing and you get vindication. I think that's the best part is feeling vindicated, because yeah, vindication's good.
Pizza said my story is boring. Well, here's the thing, Pizza.
Everybody has a story.
Well, David. That's his name. It's David.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, that's right. That's right.
I
That's
think
right.
people want to hear it. Hear your stories.
Or you don't even have to tell your story. You can make up a story. I don't care. I'm joking, but you could. I mean, who knows? Who knows? Oh, that's funny. Okay, I'm cracking myself up. That means I need to go eat something. I'm getting a little delirious. I
Yeah.
wouldn't lose subs, David. You're silly. I keep losing subs. It's the craziest thing. 2 days ago or yesterday, I had 2 more subs than I have today. And I know people aren't coming on here like 2 by 2 or 1 or 2 every day and just unsubbing. I don't know what YouTube does or why they feel it necessary to take away subs from us, but I know that's what they're doing. Like I said, 1 or 2 people a day don't just randomly come here and unsub, especially when, like, I haven't been on belittling anybody or putting anybody in their place. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Oh, well. Anyway, y'all have a great night, and I'll see you again real soon. Like I said, thanks, Eric. I love you guys.
Yeah, have an amazing night, everyone, and
Okay.
hopefully to see you on my live, soon. Might be
Yes.
Monday, so
Okay.
stay tuned on Monday.
We'll be there. Bye, y'all. Bye, Eric.
Bye.
Okay, I'll talk to you later.